So Canada manages to embarrass itself all the time. They say things like a boot, they force people like Ryan Reynolds on us, and they give standing ovations to actual Nazis.
Zelensky's speech received at least a dozen standing ovations. There was also one for this man, a 98-year-old Ukrainian Canadian who fought for Ukrainian independence against the Russians during the Second World War.
And Justin Trudeau did come out and apologize, but he also managed to make this all about Russian disinformation, because apparently it was Putin who forced him to stand and kiss a Nazi's ass.
Obviously, it's extremely upsetting that this happened. The speaker has acknowledged his mistake and has apologized. But this is something that is deeply embarrassing to the Parliament of Canada and, by extension, to all Canadians. I think particularly of Jewish MPs and all members of the Jewish community across the country who are commemorating Yom Kippur today. I think it's going to be really important that all of us push back against Russian propaganda, Russian disinformation, and continue our steadfast and unequivocal support for Ukraine, as we did last week with announcing further measures to stand with Ukraine in Russia's illegal war against it.
But there's something else we need to talk about here, not just making fun of Justin Trudeau. That's the media's role in all of this. Because how did Politico respond to the Canadian Parliament giving an SS soldier a standing ovation? Nazi-linked veteran received ovation during Zelensky's Canada visit. And the BBC went with this headline: Trudeau calls praise for Nazi-linked veteran deeply embarrassing. Nazi-linked. To recap, this is the same media who label people like us as Nazis all the time. If you don't think porn should be taught in schools, you're a book-burning Nazi. If you believe in any form of border control, you're a racist Nazi. And worst of all, if you voted for Trump or still support Trump, you're a dog-whistling, big bad orange man Nazi. But actual Nazis? They're suddenly just Nazi-linked. And yes, Yaroslav Hunka is a Nazi. I've seen a ton of really dumb people out there trying to defend him. But if you choose to join the SS, not only are you a Nazi, and not only are you a volunteer Nazi, you're the ultimate volunteer Nazi. You're the person doing the dirtiest of their dirty work, which usually meant slaughtering innocent civilians in the most barbaric ways possible. So this leaves one question: why are they suddenly saying Nazi-linked? Well, because they don't really care about Nazis. This is all about protecting the narrative. The narrative here is that Ukraine are the good guys and Russia are the bad guys. But it's not even enough to say that Ukraine are the good guys against the invading Russians, because the political and the media machine are just obsessed in keeping the military-industrial complex alive. So everything to do with Ukraine has to be celebrated as good, now, in the future, and in the past. And if that means accidentally cheering on actual Nazis, so be it. To protect this narrative, they will describe an actual member of the SS as a Nazi-linked veteran. At the same time, anyone here at home who doesn't subscribe to one thing is just labeled a Nazi. If you're a conservative, you're a Nazi, but if you're an actual Nazi and you help push their narrative, you're just Nazi-linked. This should prove once and for all that they don't even know what a Nazi is, if they ever did, and they definitely don't care. To them, Nazi is just another catch-all phrase they use to describe people they don't like. Just like the overuse of words like homophobic, transphobic, racist, sexist, misogynist, or my favourite, problematic. Sometimes people are actually these things, sometimes people are actually Nazis, like actual Nazis, but only when it helps the media push their agenda. So even if you are an evil old man who volunteered to join the SS, don't worry. Just come out on the side of the issue the media cares about today, and even being a Nazi won't get in the way. They don't care about history, they don't care about the reality of what the Nazis did to millions of people in Europe. All they see the word Nazi as is a label to attack their enemies. And when an actual Nazi comes along that doesn't exactly help their narrative, they'll just rejigger the headline as much as they need. Because they care way more about their narrative than certainly the definition of Nazis, and definitely the victims of Nazis like this one in Europe.